Emmanuel Wa-Kyendo here. The Longshoreman strikes. The International Longshoremen's Association president, Harold J. Daggett, has been leading a port workers' strike in the East Coast and the Gulf Coast of the United States. The strike was necessitated by contractual disagreement with a collection of employers in logistics. The leverage that the strikers have is defined by the interconnectivity of world trade. When a strike shuts down the ports of the world's largest economy, demand side actors cannot get their intermediate and final goods in time. Untimely or failed delivery of both intermediate and final goods will exert pressure on supply chains and lead to surprising effects, including production slowdowns, other commercial crises, and shutdowns and layoffs. Slowdowns and shutdowns can in turn exert pressures on income for the affected. Reliant on raw material imports like steel and lumber, construction contractors will have to shut down their work and ask their employees to shut down their tools. Retail outlets that cannot receive the imported goods they need to sell will also experience considerable pressures that could lead to shutdowns and layoffs. In a word, that corner of the world will quickly discover the importance of the longshoreman. Furthermore, that is exactly the intention of the strike. Now, what is the strike about? The bosses, the employers of the longshoremen, are offering 50% wage increases over the next 6 years. This is for the new raft of contracts that will be issued out to longshoremen. Presently, the average hourly wage for longshoremen stands at $39. A 50% wage increase would have them taking home $62.81 an hour. That's by the end of that 6-year period. The unions are demanding a 77% wage increase over the same period. This would leave them earning about $75.09 an hour. Should the two sides fail to agree, the strike could cost the United States $4.5 billion to $7.5 billion every week in lost goods and services. One option that the representatives of the longshoremen, their employers, can respond with is what is called a Taft-Hartley. The Labor Management Relations Act 1947, or the Taft-Hartley Act, is a U.S. federal law that serves as a counterweight to the power of labor unions. One effect that the invocation of this law would have is to force workers back to work. In response, the workers would simply slow down the pace at which they work in order to maintain bargaining pressure on their employers. We'll continue to follow this issue and see where it goes, but ultimately, the future of the longshoremen, the future of port workers, is challenged by advancements in machinery and computing that could continue to take away more and more of their jobs. Their jobs are essentially to help sort out and distribute goods as they arrive at port. Now, if more ports move towards automation, these jobs will be threatened. So much is at stake and much could change in the future. It is worth noting that the longshoremen that much was demanded of them in the last couple of years during COVID, for example, where hours out in the elements at risk of exposure, they continued to carry out their duties. We'll delve into this deeper as we go on and see just what it means for the United States and perhaps the world. Thank you.